Welcome to Reaper's Underground. We hope you survive.
Unholy shit. That's right, demons. We are live on a Thursday. It is unusually early for the big bad devil daddy himself to rise from his crypt, but I am here for all of you because I have a special treat as we are going into Reaper's Halloween horror series for the month of October. I have with me the illustrious, the darkness, the most beautiful, horrific band that we could possibly get to kick this off is Erzsébet, and we have Elizabeth with us today, all the way from Spain. My goodness. And believe me, she might not look like it, but she's got a voice that could swallow you whole like a great white shark pissed off. Let me tell you. And you guys are going to get to check that out here in just a few moments. And before we get into all this madness, we are going to take a quick commercial break to our brothers over at Villain Arts Tattoos. Check that out. That's right. You know what to do when Villain Arts Tattoos comes to your state, city, town. You make sure you get your asses out there to get a high quality tattoo from some of the best tattoo artists in the U.S. All right, here we are with Elizabeth. Thank you, everybody out in the comments section who has shown up at 10:30 in the morning. That's a new one for us, but that's okay.
Sorry.
Oh, no, don't worry about that. I mean, you're all the way out there in Spain. I'm sure it's twice as beautiful there than it is here in old Nebraska.
So it's very hot today. It's very warm.
Oh, yeah. Gotcha.
But it's okay, yeah.
Does it stay pretty hot throughout fall time?
Not really, but during along the week, this week, the temperatures ups and downs, you know, they are increasing, and then they drop dramatically. So we get cold easily during these days. Yeah.
Which one do you prefer?
Oh, maybe I prefer, spring when it's more, more constant, the temperatures, because I'm very prone to get colds.
Oh.
Yeah, and this is not good, especially for my voice.
Oh, sure. Yeah, definitely. Vocally, cold weather definitely does take its toll.
Yeah.
And speaking of which, when did you first discover that you had this amazing voice?
Wow. So thank you
for
the compliment. Thank you for the compliment. But well, the thing was that I discovered by coincidence, because I started one day. I love singing since I was little, but when I was into metal some years ago, I started to listen to certain kind of bands
Mm-hmm.
that they use the harsh vocals and growl voice. So I try to imitate somehow the sound, and that's why probably just by trial and error thing, I do it by myself. I did it by myself, I mean, without any kind of teaching, or which is not very recommendable, because nowadays you can find even tutorials on YouTube that maybe can be very useful
Mm-hmm.
to get to know how to do more or less the thing without hurting yourself, because it can be even harmful if you don't do it properly. But I consider myself very lucky, because I've never harmed my course and anything, my vocal course.
Yeah.
And in fact, it's my tool for my job. I use every day my voice in my current job, so I need to be very careful with it.
Oh, yeah.
And and yeah, it was by just imitating the voice of, for instance, when I started to listen to Carcass, bands like
Ah,
Carcass or In
yes.
Flames, even, this thing, yeah. So that's why I discovered that I could do it anyway, more or less. Or yeah, I don't know if I do it right, but if you like it, I'm more than satisfied.
Well, it's one of those things where you could literally close your eyes and you're not sure that whether or not it's a man doing it or a woman. I mean, there obviously you have like that witchy kind of like scowl is what I like to call it, which I think is great because it's very kind of horror-esque. As you know, here at Morgrad Entertainment, we love our horror as much as we love our
Hmm.
metal. And I think that's what really is going to appeal to so many diverse crowds. There are those that love just straight up good old fashioned black metal. And then there's, you have the symphonic, almost, dare I say, gothic influence, maybe especially with your theatrics.
Yeah, absolutely. Especially because of the theatrical thing, we are inspired more or less from or by Cradle of Filth, and as
Hmm.
well, yes, and Dark Throne as well, more or
Dark
less.
Throne, yeah.
Yeah. So and sometimes people can compare us to Kara Chandran as well. But
Mhm.
the theatrical thing is something that we came up with, just because we wanted to perform in a slightly way, not just play the instruments on stage and singing with rolling and everything, but adding some kind of, yes, of like a play role,
Mhm.
especially me, because I'm get dressed and I'm in a disguise, like I wear the countess itself,
Yes.
and that's the turning point, and we consider that maybe this is the key of the success that we have among people, or that's why probably people mm, get impressed when they see us for the first time, especially in live. Yeah.
So, you guys got together in 2020, one of the most difficult periods in world history as a whole. Um, so, how did it come about that you guys came together during such harsh conditions?
The fact was that the drummer and me, we joined previously in another band. It was a metal band, but not a black metal band. And I knew that he wanted to join in a black metal band because he loved, Cradle Filth, Dim Borgir, and
Oh, damn you. Yes.
oh yeah, this
Can't
kind of
get enough of
stuff.
Shagrath, you know?
This kind of stuff. And some years, or well, in 2019, it was in 2019, I met the guitarist,
Mm-hmm.
and the composer of the band, who is named in the band Angelus. And we started to talk about the possibility of joining because he played the guitar and he loved the same bands as the drummer of my previous band. So
Mm-hmm.
I thought I linked, and I made the connections. So yeah, I introduced them one to each other, and from this meeting, it was in live meeting because we were not in the lockdown yet.
Right.
So yeah, and in that meeting, we decided to create something together, and in that precious in that specific moment, I suggest them to be the front metal singer, the from okay, and they say okay, but I say I can be your singer as long as you let me to play the role as a countess, and I could do some kind of a theatrical thing.
Oh,
And they accepted. Yes, they accepted because I always loved the horror movies and all, the ambience of the darkness and everything, like the atmosphere of creepy things. And they accepted, so we decided to push forward. And we then later, maybe 3 months later, we recruited the bass player who was a previous friend of the guitarist.
mm-hmm.
So the band, we are four of us. So that's why we joined together. And then maybe 2 months later, the lockdown arrived. Yeah.
Almost putting a halt to everything. There were so many bands that I've talked to that, during that time, they've gone through so many of the similar things.
Mm-hmm. So, well, the
You guys
thing
rose
is,
above it, though. And
yeah.
that's awesome. Something very creative came out of that chaos. So your previous band, was that like a little bit more of a different style of metal compared to what you guys are doing? Oh, okay. Was it more just like basically straight ahead metal, would you say?
No, it was more like new metal, but not new
Oh,
metal. It
okay.
was like some kind. They wanted to do something like textures, the band
Gotcha.
textures and things like that. But for me, it was so technical that I prefer something more romantic, like the black metal
Sure.
music, and yeah.
Mhm.
So
I
then
love
I
the
I
fact that
quit.
you say death metal is romantic. Yes.
Because it is. I think it is. Because
Oh, me
all
too. I couldn't agree
yeah.
more. I love it. Let's see here. Aaron says, I think was a very smart idea to do that with the Countess. Gives you so much room to explore the character. And I couldn't agree more. I mean, such a dark, rich history the mystique that surrounds that iconic figure in history. What kind of drew you to that? Was it more so just the did she or did she not? Was she truly the Countess of Blood? That kind of thing? Or did you do like a lot of research?
Uh, well, some years ago, before joining the band, and when I was maybe not a teenager, but in my 20s, I discovered this figure, and probably because it was named like me, because my
Sure.
real name is Erzsébet,
Right.
I had some kind of connection with her, and because I've always loved the vampires stories and things like that, because I wanted to, in fact, when I was when I was child, I wanted to be a filmmaker, to
Ooh,
create, yes, horror movies, but I
nice.
couldn't. Yeah. So that's why probably you can, puzzle everything and say, okay, now I understand why she needs to
To get
act
this out.
exactly. Because somehow it's like my short movie in life.
Yeah.
And yeah, and then later on I discovered that this icon, because she is like an icon, a legend,
Very much so. Yes.
has some kind of, like a double face. The story itself says that maybe she was the murderer of 650 young girls, or maybe not. Maybe she was innocent, but somehow, she was very powerful on that age, and maybe it was not very, convenient for the power of the kingdom around over there, and
Mhm.
they, yeah, it was like I don't know how to say, like someone who is treats you like unfair, because they are afraid of, they are like, she was like jeopardizing,
Mhm.
the status of her enemies, something like that.
Right.
That's why. But the legend goes on, and we stick on the legend rather than the because it's more juicy.
Oh,
You
sure.
can squeeze
Absolutely.
it. Yeah.
I've always
Um,
kind of felt like the legend itself. I mean, there's a little bit of truth in every legend, if you ask me.
yeah.
No one just suddenly said, "Oh, she's trying to keep herself looking young forever." Um, if in fact, there wasn't something that led them to believe that. But that's one of the wonderful things about history. You'll never know for sure.
Exactly. And you have no witnesses to ask,
Right.
because it's
I mean, I guess we could
400
probably take a medium out there and to the castle and see if the dead will speak.
with a Ouija or something.
Yup.
Yeah.
Aaron says blending history and heresy of her history and adding the music makes it more real and interesting. I could not agree more. And you were kind of speaking about Cradle of Filth quite a bit, which is definitely a favorite of mine as well, and many others. They actually did an entire record on, you know,
Exactly.
her
Exactly. Through She
story.
and the Beast.
It's
Yeah.
still one, in my opinion, one of the finest albums they ever made.
Mm.
So I feel like you bring something different to the table. It's not being told in third person. It's more like first person.
Exactly.
You're telling her story, and it's very, very historical in every shape of the imagination. So, real quick, for everybody out there in Morgrot land, we're going to show you a little bit of the video, one of the
Mm-hmm.
videos that they've made. This is Erzsébet, and it's Damina. Shoot, I
Vestra?
forget the. Yep,
Domina Vestra?
there we go. Yep. I just didn't want to butcher it. And definitely you'll see just how much power there is in this band. Check
Oh,
it out,
thank you.
folks.
Beauty, painful
Man, if that didn't put the chill down your spine out there in Morgrot land, I don't know what will. First of all, what a location. Now, where was that shot at?
Oh, it's a secret.
Okay.
No, it's not a secret because you can see it at the end of the video. We have the credits, so you can search on the internet, on Google. You can Google it and the credits. One of the location. I mean, it's written
Yes.
on credits, but it's not a big surprise. But people think, or usually think, that it's in Paris catacomb or something like that, and we
Well,
say
sure, because of all the skulls in the wall.
exactly, and we
It's the first
say
thing I thought.
we don't say no, we don't say yes. It's like, okay, you can discover by yourself.
Yep, gotta love that. Gotta look for the Easter eggs and whatnot. Just, I mean, that song right there is very, very crossover, and that's kind of what we're trying to get my viewers and the addicts out there to understand, that you guys have kind of appeal, I think, to a broader type of an audience, not just black metal fans. I mean, the black metal is definitely on point, which in a little bit here, guys, I'm going to play another example of just how heavy they can actually be. I fucking love it. It's fantastic.
Thank you.
Oh, cool. Hey, what's going on? Human the Hoof Beast in the house. He says, I'll check this band out. Yes, indeed. Let's see. Aaron says, holy shit, you're a beast and a goddess. Mad, mad respect. That's a nice compliment.
Quite
Lizzie
nice,
says,
quite nice. Yes, I cannot complain.
I mean, there's not a lot of people that can do what you do. And you've definitely cultivated this voice, and I love how you can switch from regular voice, a demonic voice, a guttural voice, and then, like I said, that really kind of like eerie, kind of a witch scowl. Does it feel very natural for you to be able to jump to all those different voices within one song?
Well, I love combining and blending different voices. Otherwise, for me, it's a little bit dull,
Sure.
in terms of, if you are singing all the time, all the lyrics the same way, I need, because it's like a roller coaster for me.
Yes.
And as well, because the character itself somehow requires to be from top or from one stream to another, because she was like crazy and mad, and then she's called like, I'm here, I'm brushing my hair, and then whoa, it's like something
It's like,
bipolar or something like that.
Yep.
That you
No,
don't
I think it's
expect. You
great. It's
never
very
expect.
effective. Yes, very effective. Because again, you're kind of, telling a story, and you kind of almost get like an ethereal feel at times as well. We got a question here for you. Beasts asks, can you go as low as the Danish vocalist who was with Cerebral Bore? He says he forgot her name. I'm also drawing a blank myself.
Sorry, and my apologies, because I don't know how low could she be, but well, maybe if I'm I cannot do it probably, because sometimes it depends on even your box your body.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not too tall, I'm not too thin, but not too wide. I mean, and yes, I can push it everything with all my effort, because it's more related, or it has to do with the strength,
Oh yeah, I mean,
and
all
with
those
the rage.
vocal folds and muscles.
Exactly, and with the rage even. because I always say that the way I try to sing with growling is like
Mhm.
chewing, just like that. Yes. And at the end of certain sentences of certain verse, I love to I don't know how to say, but the print, like
Mhm.
Jeff Walker from Carcass does, like this,
Yeah.
that's because I think it's like a, the like the special mark or the special thing that it's not just no, it's because it shows like you are anger in all you're angry, and
Hmm. Oh, I mean, it
somehow.
definitely brings about a certain kind of tension and emotion behind it.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, just kind of your little example there was very kind of like demonic. I think of like a possessed person, and that demonic voice is fighting to get out. So that was really cool. Totally appreciate that.
You nail it, yes, that's the definition, so yeah.
Absolutely.
Mhm.
Now, in a lot of symphonic black metal bands, one thing that I've always been kind of critical of is how much the keys or the orchestral parts can overshadow the guitar work. And your guitarist has some brilliant playing, excellent tremolo picking throughout even a lot of your heavier songs, which, like I said, we'll definitely get an example of that here in a moment. But it doesn't. Everything is balanced super well. Now, you guys have recorded everything in Barcelona, at a
Yeah.
studio in Barcelona, right?
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Mm-hmm.
Man, were you all active as far as the production? Because it seems like everything is very well balanced, and those keys are not drowning anything out. I mean, your voice is at the forefront, and you can hear all the other instruments very well. The drums are very clean, very strong. So, did you guys have a lot to do with the production?
Well, the responsible of the production is our in Barcelona is a man called Axcarius, and he has a large experience producing and mixing and recording black metal bands. In fact, he some years ago he joined in a very popular band here called Asgaros.
Ah,
Asgaros, and in fact, I think that they tour as a supporting band in United States with Cradle of Filth.
oh,
Yeah,
okay,
some years ago. I mean, maybe
sure,
15 years ago, or so. He's used to this kind of music, and yeah,
super
the
important.
responsible of all this brilliant work is Ascarius, and I think I fell in love with him in the first record that we did with him, because he's very, he always plays jokes, and the sense of humor that he is very similar. Yeah, is very close to my sense of humor. And because when you are recording the vocals and everything, you have to be in a good mood and
Oh, sure.
relax, and and I always play jokes with him, and it's fantastic to work with him, absolutely. And then he touched with his magic wand. and,
I mean,
and
it,
the
it
result,
is. It's super, super important.
yeah.
Yeah, look at that. Oh man, just an awesome, awesome album cover. Um, and very shocking, I think, probably in some areas, because lately, a lot of the death metal bands have been kind of coming under fire for some of the gruesome album covers, and that one's not short of terrifying in my
Yeah.
um, and the fact that you named it 650, I think is also just brilliant as far as the horror aspect of it. Beast actually says the name of that singer he was talking about is Simone Plumers, I think, if I'm saying that right. But that was somebody that he had watched on YouTube, like kind of taught him to scream the way that she does. So maybe something to check out, Very cool.
I should check out.
I kind of had a feeling he was going to ask this question. This is a good one. He says, please describe how you take care and prepare your vocal folds before a show or during recording, hydration, etc. Like, what's your ritual?
Yeah, my ritual always is, as you say, hydration. It's very important. I drink tons of water. I mean, bottles and bottles of water on a daily basis. Just in my daily, it's like a routine because I love water. Then I can drink a shot or something or a cocktail, but it's not the rule, And before the shows or before, for instance, the rehearsals, I usually drink a lot of water. No, eat the 30 minutes before singing. It's important not to eat. Otherwise, the digestion and everything, it's not very recommendable to eat before, right before the when you are going to sing. And then another important thing is to warm up, to warm your vocals. And I always use the same ritual, that it's 5 steps that you can follow from Melissa, the vocal coach. He has like 5 steps that I usually follow, plus something like when you're humming, like So with this, I'm humming for maybe 1 minute, and then I used to practice the 5 different exercises, which is with your tongue doing that 20 times, and then with the R. Guttural R here, and then here. So I can shift, and the quicker you shift, the better to warm up your vocal cords. And then another exercise like open wide your mouth and do it smaller, as small as you can. And things like that. It's just to exercise a bit the muscles and relax, and that's it. Just maybe everything takes me 10 minutes. 10 minutes, that's enough. Yeah.
No, that's fantastic. And honestly, I think that's why you haven't damaged, your vocals at all. It's because you're taking the time to do those warm-ups. It's not like the typical answer you'd get probably in black metal, which is like a couple of shots of Jägermeister and screaming at somebody or something.
No, I think that it sounds not very, not very black, but it's the truth that, if you want to sing properly and not to damage your voice, and you have to behave a little bit and take care of it.
Yeah, definitely. All right. We were kind of talking about some of the heavier, more black metal style songs that you guys do. And I think I've picked a couple of good ones. So let's check this next one out.
Which is my battle holds.
And that wasn't even the heaviest track. I'm saving that for last. But that was
Okay.
just kind of like a real example of that fantastic tremolo picking that the guitar player is doing. Now, is he also responsible for the keys?
Yeah, exactly.
I had a feeling because the melodies, the melodicism between what's going on with all the orchestral parts are just like so beautiful. Just very, very dark, very beautiful. I love the ominous, like, choir voices in the back. And they hit a note there that suddenly like turns almost dissonant and then comes back to the melodicism. I thought that was a really nice touch.
So yeah, good. I think that you have an eye for this, absolutely, because yeah, I mean, Angelus, the play guitar, is the composer of all the songs. He
Oh,
composes
okay.
the everything. But then we can modify. The drummer modifies the blast beats. Maybe he changes
Sure.
the certain parts, and we put or we add our natural thinking and natural way to play the instrument. And for me as well, the part of I have to sing, I have no structure, which is good for me because it gives me more freedom. And sometimes when I'm hesitating, I can call him and say, okay, Angelus, how would you imagine that this structure should be? And he says, oh, maybe here the chorus, and maybe because sometimes the not all the songs follow the same, bar very clearly. Sometimes they have no chorus properly, or
Mhm.
the standard or the expected chorus that you can listen to in a very normal way, I would say. And yeah, but we have a lot of freedom. But the responsible of composing all the songs is he. So he is brilliant doing it, and we are very grateful and very proud of him of having within a team.
Oh, most definitely. Um, Having all that technical, music theory background is super important.
Yeah.
It's definitely creating the atmosphere of this concept record and everything that you guys have done up to this point. Um, let's kind of talk about live. So, kind of describe for us what some of like the theatrics. What could we expect to see if we were to come see you live?
Well, we planned always to to represent more or less. Oh, it's like a play, like not a musical. Sometimes
No,
people
definitely not.
can come. No, no, no. It's a musical from Disney or something like that.
Right.
But in terms of usually in black metals people play the instrument. I mean, the musicians with corpse paint and everything, corpse paint, yeah, and everything. But not they change. Maybe they don't change their clothes on stage while the show, and we do it. Not all of us, just me.
Right.
That's why on the set list usually we have to include certain parts of instrumental songs, and that's when I take advantage of it and change my clothes, and then I come out to stay, come out, hit the stage with another appearance, and it's yeah. And obviously, if you don't want to get stained with blood, don't come to the first rows.
You had me at blood. Uh, nice. Now, you guys, I take it, are probably using, movie quality type blood, right?
Yeah, yeah, and it's ecological as well because
There you
you can drink it. You can, and it's very
go.
sweet.
Ah,
Yeah.
oh, cool. Because we have a lot of actors, such as myself, also in the comment section there. So that's good to know. We're gonna have to look for this kind of blood because that would just make movie making that much more fun.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Because if you cannot, because if it's toxic, you cannot swallow and you
Nope.
cannot play properly with your the things,
Right.
on your
Get it
mouth
out.
and everything.
And
Exactly, you have to
yeah.
spit it. But
No
yeah,
pig's blood, no goat's blood, nothing like that. I always think of Watain when it comes to blood because they use the real thing,
yeah, and
and we've always hear that he gets sick from it, from night after night because it stains on the clothing and then kind of gets in your pores and
yeah.
stuff. So good to know you're being safe with your blasphemy. We love that.
No,
Right.
I think that it's important because in that way, we think that probably, as you said before, sometimes in the crowd there could be people who love to be, to get dirty from blood and
Oh,
everything.
sure.
Yeah, and people who prefer to keep distance from this kind of ritual. But on that way, they can, because more or less, all people can enjoy the sweetness of our blood. That's important.
Yes, it's very important. You don't want to offend. So do you kind of like set up in such a way like a scene of, Erzsébet, you know, killing one of these ladies? Do you kind of
Oh,
mimic that or just kind of foreshadow it?
no, in fact, we would love to have more budget, to
Oh,
do
sure.
bigger things and to hire some actress or someone who could play the role of a victim and play with on stage. But
Mm.
we are a humble, and we have not yet. We have not budget enough to the sort of things, but it's just our imagination. And yeah, with all little small resources and sources, we can do maybe with. In fact, we have like some. It's an idea that we started to do with the new album. In one of the tracks, I use rats with blood, and it's like a high peak of the gig when I throw the rats to the audience and someone pick it, and then it's fantastic, and they take pictures with the rat and
Oh,
post it
yeah.
on social media. It's fantastic. Yes.
I will definitely have to if you have them posted online, I will make sure to repost them on my page because that's fucking fun right there. I've
I
always
can
been a
tell
big fan of that type of theatrics. So
we have some videos from people who
mhm.
posted this moment in a concert here in a place here near Barcelona, and it was a festival. And one of the boy, I mean, the man who caught the
Yes.
rat was a fan of rats, and I didn't
Oh,
know,
okay.
obviously, because I just was through it and that's it. And then he was, oh, I will keep it. And yes, I can send you the videos when he's, playing with the rat and all the blood on his face. It was fantastic because he really enjoyed the moment of taking the rat and playing with it.
Sure.
Yeah, it's very
That's.
nice.
I mean, shoot, you can't buy that kind of publicity. Really. What are some of the bands that you've played with? Any larger names in Europe or?
So far, you mean so far? Well, we had the experience of our lives last summer in Portugal.
Ooh,
Um, it's a country, Portugal, where we have a very good welcoming, a very
yeah,
warming welcoming
big
with the
metal
audience.
community there. Mhm.
Yeah, absolutely. And I never thought that it could be, like that, on that way. I mean, and we share the not the same stage, because there were two different stages,
Sure.
one side to side, but and we had the opportunity to play with Cradle Filth, and
Ooh.
yeah, and it was the first. Well, imagine Reaper, imagine the situation. The drummer and the Angelus, I mean the guitarist, the composer, they are huge fans of Cradle of Filth. And the good thing, the fun fact was that while we were doing the sound check, because we play at the beginning of the day, we open,
Yeah.
you know, and they not close. They were not they were the main band that day, the same day, and they had the opportunity as well to sound check some hours before they played. And yeah, stage on stage at the same time we were doing the sound check while they were doing their sound check. And I in a moment I took my smartphone, sorry, and I sneak it, I sneak it to the other stage. Yeah. And I record them while they were, Danny Field were doing his things. And was, oh, I can imagine that while we are playing our instruments, they are doing the same. And when my bandmates watch it, it was, oh, it's like a dream come true,
Well,
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah.
I mean, that was one of your guys' biggest influences.
Yeah.
So there you are, right there.
It was something, yeah, that we love that it would happen another time around, but time will tell. We don't know. But for thanks to that day and to that festival, we had the opportunity to meet Zui, who is the current key vocalist and the female back vocals of
Vocals, yeah.
Cradle. Yeah,
Mhm.
she's a stunning person. I mean, she's super generous and very nice. And when she listened to our music, she told me, "Oh, it reminds me to a Cradle of Filth records, albums, and yeah, and that's why we agree to perform, because she sings in Domina Vestra as well. She
Right.
she
Yeah.
does the soprano voice with another
Awesome.
soprano. Yeah. So for us, it was like a booster.
Oh yeah, big time. I mean, it's like everything has come full
Yeah.
circle,
Yeah.
from having this idea and then, getting into it, cultivating it, and now you're basically living that dream. With 650, are you guys? Do you have a tour planned of any kind, or maybe some runs here and there?
We are promoting the record. The truth is that because we released it at the beginning of summer, and we all know that during summer it's full of festivals, summer festivals, and it's
Yes.
very difficult to enter to the festival on the last minute.
Oh
So
yeah.
we had so we had
Unfortunately.
planned, yeah. So we have to promote it from now, because at the end of the summer we played as well 3 weeks ago in Portugal as well with Corpus Christi, which is a Portuguese black metal band.
Nice.
And yeah, and in February we have like a mini tour here in Spain.
Oh,
And
cool.
we are going to play the new album songs in 3 different cities here in Spain. But we love to go abroad, obviously. And I think that our main objective for next spring summer should be, or is, to perform our music in Europe. in another countries from Europe, like Italy or Germany as well.
Oh, yeah.
Norway should be brilliant.
That's that you kind of know you've arrived being a black metal band when you get to play in Norway for sure.
Yeah. Sooner or later, we get it.
Sure, yes. And of course, the UK. I mean, the UK has a lot of fantastic metal scenes as well as a lot of really good festivals too. So,
yeah,
you guys are on your way.
Yeah, that's the way, and we have to focus. Little by little, it's like conquering more territory for the contest.
That's right. And then, of course, maybe I don't know. Have you guys ever thought about going to Romania to possibly play there as well?
Yeah, to Romania and the Eastern countries from Europe, absolutely. Slovenia, Romania. Yeah, definitely. We apply for some festivals for next summer. Cross fingers, and if they give us, if they give us the opportunity, they don't regret. Yeah.
Hell yeah, man, that would be something.
I think that we have to be, hopeful, but we sometimes it's hard when you are an unknown or a newcomer band. Sometimes it's hard. You have to, knock the many doors to be opened, and not always is easy because they maybe check your followers on Instagram and they think, oh, they have less than 50,000. Oh, they don't deserve to be.
I hate that. Shouldn't it be based on talent? That's one of the. I mean, 20 years ago, this wouldn't have been the precept. They would have been judging by the live performance. How many people are going to see the show? And getting that whole vibe. Are they marketable? The look and all that stuff. Now it's, oh, I don't give a shit, what you look like, or if you're a good band, but, do you have a bajillion followers on social media? I think that's just stupid as hell.
Super stupid, yeah.
Yeah. And does Whispering Voice Records, are they kind of helping to push you? Advertising, all that stuff, promotion.
Yeah, this record level is from Norway. That's we.
Oh,
yeah,
that's good backing right there.
Yeah, and I think it's very, it's a good way to promote as a band, as a black metal band. Although we are from Spain. We have this record company behind us. So I think it's not by coincidence, because when they decided to bet or they decided to recruit us, it's because maybe they saw something different.
Yeah,
and
definitely.
Yeah, and I think because
you do stand out, in my opinion. I mean, there's so many black metal bands, not just, first wave, second wave, symphonic, all the different subgenres within black metal. I listen to you guys and I say, I don't hear this in other bands. This is different. It does stand on its own and it's very strong.
So Reaper, you should come to one of our concerts, and then you're more than invited to come. So yeah, because probably you enjoy it even more, because in live it's like a different experience. Yeah,
it's way different. It really kind of is the culmination of everything that you guys put into your art. And we're going to hear one more track, and then we're going to talk about how people can connect with you and your music. Check this banger out. One eye encased in impressional shape, dressed Oh man, those lows, they get me every time, especially when they occur in the breakdown. You don't get a lot of breakdowns, I think, in a lot of black metal, so it's refreshing
Yeah.
to hear that. All right. Well, wait a minute. We did have one more question for you. What do you think of the dissonant black metal? Thantophaxith, Mortiferum, Deathspell, Omega.
Well, I think that probably this kind of different perspective of music, it's something very renewal, something refreshing. And well, dissonance in general, I think that are very, you have to be very very brave, I mean, when you create something out of the box. So yeah, my admiration for these bands, because they are doing something that it's not the standard thing. So yeah.
Yep. And that actually goes to his next comment, because he's like, I'm so bored with most black metal because it's often sounds generic or just rehashing old plot, if you will. So some of these standout bands like yourselves, I think is definitely making black metal even more exciting, because you have different flavors. Some people, they're happy with, we call them purists. They just love one sound and that sound only. But you guys are definitely doing something different. The more avant-garde or dissonant black metal is definitely doing something different, and it's giving it new dimensions. And the art of the performance is huge for me. I don't necessarily, I just to say fair, I don't need a show every time. I don't need the theatrics, but it's like if somebody is doing it and it makes so much sense. It's so much fun, like what you're doing. You're actually kind of creating scenes with each one of these songs, because let's face it, each one of the tracks on 650 is telling parts of the story. Exactly. And I think it's appropriate. It's kind of like King Diamond.
Yeah,
very much goes along with telling the story of what the concept for the record is. And I can't wait to see it. I gotta look at these videos you're talking about. That's gonna be fun. I want to see the rat. I want to see the rat going crying. I want to see the blood spraying everybody in the front rows. Let's do that. Where can we find your music for everybody out there in Morgrot land?
Sorry.
Where can everyone find your music?
Oh, on Spotify. Sorry, because I disconnect some. On Spotify you have the two records we have released so far. The first record, it was an EP called The Blasphemous Lady. I have it here, so you can.
Another fantastic cover.
Yes, the cover, it's designed by the same designer who created the 650. She's a Spanish designer and photographer.
Nice.
Yes, called Irene Serrano. She works perfectly and she fits, and from the very beginning, with our idea of all aesthetics and everything. So yeah, and one fact, this is me.
Oh, okay. That's awesome.
Yes, because at the beginning, at the beginning when we released this album, at the beginning I was a little bit shy, to be on the cover. In fact, in the other cover, this is me as
I
well.
had a feeling.
So I don't know, maybe because I don't like to be the picture,
Sure.
or I don't want to show my face on the cover as if I was Kylie Minogue or something like that, because it's not my thing, so I prefer to
Right,
keep
because you guys are a band. Yes.
exactly, and I prefer to keep a low profile on the cover. And yeah, that's why I decided I prefer to be the victim here rather than the counters or the and
Right.
and then here when they ask me, oh, but you should appear and I say, okay, but with something, the
Yeah.
blood stain, to cover my face and something to hide my face. And these girls are real girls, are not artificial intelligence
Oh,
thing.
wow.
They are naked, they are real people here, not the skulls.
Right.
They are made with for Photoshop, I mean.
Hmm.
But the girls and me and the blood and everything was real, which is important
Right.
because nowadays we think that everything can be created with artificial intelligence, and we have to be a little bit more, um, we have to appreciate and to keep our mm, creativity.
Through art.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah, and through
I,
art,
that is
exactly.
definitely something that is getting lost
Yeah,
in a lot of, I would say, mainstream metal bands, because a lot of them are using that kind of technology now. The fact that you guys actually did this photo shoot for the album cover, I think that just makes it even more special.
hmm.
It's more real, more realistic. AI, you can almost kind of pick it out right away. This isn't real. you know
Exactly, exactly. Yeah,
so
and
that's true art.
it takes time, and everything when takes time, it's something that you have then to a different result. So you have to appreciate it, and for me, it's more valuable to do things on your own with real stuff and real people, and yeah. So yeah, you can listen to our music on Spotify. Then we have another platforms as well, YouTube on
Yes,
YouTube.
definitely.
But YouTube from the Whispering Record and our Gates, which was the previous one. It was from Spain, this company, and the current
Mhm.
one is from Norway. Whispering Voice. And then you can check some videos from live gigs on YouTube as well. If
Mhm.
you Google, if you search on YouTube, Erzsébet, Portugal, or Erzsébet, things like that, festivals on Portugal, Milagre
Mhm.
Metaleiro, or yeah, Caminos Metálicos is the company who produce and who is shooting our gigs in Portugal, and then they edit everything, and they do it perfectly. So we have to be
Nice.
very, yeah, yeah.
Where can they find you on social media?
Yeah, well, we have Facebook and we have Instagram. Our profile is named Erzsébet slash Erzsébet/music.
Yes.
Okay. I think it's like that. I'm not sure because I'm not very into. Don't kill me, please. Don't kill
No
me.
worries. It's a necessary evil these days.
Oh yes, and it's so exhausting. You always have to
Oh,
say
I
things.
spend probably 6 hours a day on this shit. I can't
Oh,
stand it.
oh no. It's a bit
But
like
you got to stay marketable. You got to promote. Oh, there we
exactly
go.
like
See,
this.
you can see it right there.
Erzsébet music.
Mm-hmm.
like this. Okay, so you have our profile, and here we post some of the videos, so you can check the live videos and some very nice pictures from, yeah. So if you have a look, if you check them out, I think that you won't you will be very satisfied about what you see.
Oh, most definitely, and definitely gives um, a better look at your overall stage show, all the different photos and things. Now, you
Mm.
said it's Erzsébet slash music, because I'm trying to put it out there in the comment
I
section
don't
there,
know if
or is it a dash,
it's a dash. Sorry,
like
slash
a
will be
hyphen?
like, yeah, yeah.
Gotcha.
Sorry, yeah.
So there is the Instagram handle. It is now out there for everyone to check out. And then, of course, on Facebook, it is just simply facebook.com/Erzsébet. And
I
you
think
can,
it's the same. Yeah, yeah.
yep.
I'm not the, the community manager of the band, because I'm very, I'm completely useless for this kind of things. I mean, I prefer
Well,
to
even live
create.
sometimes can help. Just like if you're promoting a show, like, hey, we're going to be here, guys, come see us.
No,
That kind
no, it's yes. The sad thing is that nowadays you have to deal with it, and you have to, make the most of your social media to promote your music and your band. But the truth is that I'm completely awkward using Instagram. it, I don't know, maybe I'm getting older or something.
of.
It's like,
Yeah, we're
how
a
do I
long
have
way.
to post the reel? I don't remember.
Yep,
I'm
we're
awful,
a long
awful.
ways away from the old days when we used to just hit the pavement on the streets, tell
And
people, hand flyers out, all that kind of stuff. Although that
yeah.
was kind of fun because you instantly made connections,
Hmm.
with fans that way. But I mean, that's one good thing that social media does, is it does connect us,
It's
and that
like a,
we're more reachable
yeah,
all over
that's
the
true.
world.
That's true. Yeah. It's
I
a double-edged sword, something that you can use for good and for bad as well, or some, yeah.
right. We've all seen the bad side. Let me tell you. But my hope, honestly, is that you guys will come to the States one day, if that's a possibility. I feel like we need this
Oh,
in a major way. I'd love to see you guys, play with Dark Funeral and, so many different excellent metal bands, black metal bands here in the States. It would be great because we do a lot of festivals as well, but
hmm.
not so much on the black metal tip that I've seen. But hopefully that could be a thing because Europe is killing it. I've been saying it now for I don't know how long till I'm white in the face. That
Uh-huh.
that's Europe is where it's at, and they really support this type of music. But believe it or not, there
Hmm.
are a ton of us here in the States that also support this type of music as well. I
Oh,
want to thank you so much for joining me today here in the underground so that we could spread the unholy word of Erzsébet to all of Morgrot Entertainment fans and viewers. And you guys really showed out there in the comment section. I want to thank you guys for all your awesome questions, engagement, and joining me here in my crypt at 10:30 in the morning. That's something that
sorry.
normally happens, but you know what? I had a fucking blast, and especially honored to get your music out to the masses. So you guys know what to do out there. You know where to find them, find their music. YouTube is definitely one of the best spots because you can catch a lot of the live performances. So definitely, hopefully, you guys have an awesome rest of your day. But don't forget, coming tonight, actress Shonda Rawlings,
Oh,
a rising star in indie horror. She'll be joining me in my crypt at the usual hour, which is cocktail hour, because 10:30 in the morning is a little too early for this devil. Sorry, I don't want to start knocking back the bourbon so soon. So, but thank you, Elizabeth. I wish you guys nothing but success. Keep checking in with me. Anytime you guys post something, tag me in it. I'll be happy to repost it all over where we can, so that people know what you're doing. And for all the rest of you addicts, for the rest of your day, stay heavy.